This is meteorologist Jay Prater. We're here in the Cakeland Weatherplex, and unfortunately, we're watching a very dangerous situation unfold.
Oh, tornado to the east! Huge tornado! Look at that!
It is extremely important for everyone in the Greensburg area to move to shelter.
An EF5 tornado leveled the town of Greensburg, Kansas. 95% of its buildings were completely destroyed, and 1,300 people's lives changed forever. My name is Leilani Munter. I am a biology graduate, race car driver, and an advocate for energy freedom, because independence and self-sufficiency are at the heart of what it means to be an American. For almost a decade, I have passionately used my voice as a driver to raise awareness and encourage change for a better world. The town of Greensburg has captured my heart. This small town turned a devastating disaster into an incredible breakthrough. I visited Greensburg and talked to many of the people leading the charge to transform it into a green town.
You know, the average tornado width is 75 yards. The tornado that hit Greensburg was 1.7 miles wide. I mean, it was just devastation.
We had 1,300 people in town, and everyone experienced the tornado, and they all have their own story to tell.
The windows started imploding. Then it was just like waves of wind. Then we felt water start pouring down our backs, and I just told everybody I loved them.
My neighbor across the street was in charge of civil defense. He had ordered 300 body bags. And when you looked at this part of town, he and I both questioned if he had ordered enough body bags. I mean, it was unbelievable, the destruction.
At the time, you can't think of rebuilding.
It was just a clean slate when the community was done, you know. There was 11 people passed, and I think 6 of them were within 2 blocks of our house. So it changed who we were for sure.
This community had a choice: rebuild what was, or challenge the status quo and create a better tomorrow for itself. Our planet is facing so many diverse and complex issues, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. However, when I saw Greensburg's progress, it reminded me of Margaret Mead's quote, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has."
Everybody is motivated by money to a certain degree, but it's always secondary to greater values. Survival. Anybody who's in tragedy or adversity, if you can make sense of it, it kind of becomes a resource to catalyze you going forward. And so we talked about that a lot. Why not make this a town for the future that people around the country come to learn from? People were like, yeah, we could be leaders and we could be seen in a way that little Western Kansas is never seen.
It went from, no, we can't do that, to how do we do that? Let's do that. And the conversations that went on got faster and faster, and, you know, and we have the best Western motel with a wind turbine. We have a John Deere dealership that's LEED Platinum, and a business that spun off of that is wind power.
That's when the shift occurred, was when it became clear to them it wasn't a political agenda. It was very authentic to them, and that's when people really felt ownership about it.
Greensburg is showing the world that sustainable innovation not only helps the environment, but it saves people money.
Well, I'm not a tree hugger, but we farm. And if you farm, you are involved in nature and conservation and all these things all the time. To me, it was a natural thing to do. Not only it was a natural thing to do, but it was an economic thing to do because of the fact that if you're going to rebuild something, why put it back like it was if the utility bill was $600? If for basically the same money you can put it back and have a $200 utility bill, what's that doing for the environment? You know, it has to be good.
If we're going to use government funds to build things, we should build the most sustainable, the most cost-effective facilities we can. This is a LEED Platinum building. This has a lot of consideration for life cycle cost. Why doesn't everyone do it? I don't know. They all should.
I've always been an environmentalist, and it's always bothered me that we essentially soil our own nest.
The real issue in the environmental thing needs to stay in the middle, and it's not blue state, it's not green state, it's economic, pure and simple economics.
We did nothing to be green before. We didn't even care, you know? We just threw our paper towels away and our trash, and we didn't care, you know? And I don't know what percent of the United States, but I'm sure most people are more like that than the way that we've learned to be now. And so through the tornado, I think God gave us an opportunity to maybe teach others what is so important for our earth, or it's not going to be here in a generation or two, pretty quick.
After seeing firsthand the transformation of this little town, I had the honor of inviting Greensburg resident Jill Eller and her family to join me at a race.
Agriculture's big here, but oil and gas is huge, huge here. So to get people in the middle of it, including the Ellers who make their living from oil, to understand it in the way they do, that is the microcosm that tells me that it's possible.
Okay, everybody say energy freedom! Energy freedom! Your family, your choice!
Greensburg is a living science experiment, and we're not done. Get solar up here, and maybe we go off the grid. Who knows?
As I got ready to get in my race car, I looked down and saw a caterpillar in the grass. What the caterpillar sees as the end of the world, to the butterfly, is just the beginning. Greensburg, Kansas is a butterfly, which shows us how change can be a beautiful thing.